everyone. My name is Padmini Nidumolu, and I'm the co-founder of Lean and Agile, predominantly founded on the basis of let's get the women together in Lean and Agile spaces on a common platform where we can offer to each other, where we can seek from each other in a psychologically safe space. And this organization is also about celebrating women and recognizing the accomplishments of the women, but also recognizing the challenges that these women have faced, but most importantly, how they persisted, how they not just survived, but thrived through those challenges. And that's the series that we are running today, which is LIA100, which is also Lean and Agile 100, which is interviews with 100 phenomenal women from across the world in the lean and agile spaces and bringing their stories to you, their journeys to you, and with the hope that you get inspired and possibly adopt some or all of them into your own life and your own professional spaces. So as part of that today, we have the incredible Joanna from Ireland, from the beautiful country Ireland. Hi, Joanna, how are you?
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Our pleasure, Joanna. I'll say a few words about you as an introduction, and then we can get into the conversation. Okay.
Lovely.
So, a brief introduction about Joanna. She is a community co-organizer of Agile-Lean Ireland community. Joanna is an Agile lead consultant. She's an expert in business agility, lean agile transformations, and developing high performing agile teams. She is an approved provider of lean and agile trainings and consulting by Enterprise Ireland, IDA, and local enterprise offices. She's also authorized by the International Consortium for Agile to run the certified ICP-AHR trainings. She has helped coordinate Agile events internationally, and she's also a board member of Agile-Lean Ireland. Joanna is a very active member of the Global Agile Community. She speaks very widely, and she's a leader in that space in Ireland. Welcome, Joanna. Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the very welcome, very warm welcome. Thank you.
Our pleasure. So, Joanna, can you tell us a little bit about what brought you into Agile? Because I know you were into project management, program management pretty heavily early on in your career. How did you
Yes.
enter this space, and what really attracted you to this space?
Yeah, so for me, that was pure coincidence because I literally arrived one day to work and I was told, okay, next week you are doing a Scrum Master training and from now on you are a Scrum Master. So that was decided for me. However, the good part was that I had already some experience as a project manager. So when I did a course, it immediately responded to my pain points. So I fell in love with it immediately because I could see how this address my day-to-day struggles. So from then I just fell in love with it and I was upskilling in the area since then. Every conference I would go, every training I would do, I was coming back with bigger list of what I have to upskill and learn. So this is like endless journey. And to be honest with you, since then I've been for the last nearly 10 years, I've been continuously upskilling in that area.
That is fantastic. And we should always upskill, right? There is really no nirvana state of knowing it all. So I think there's always something to learn. And I love that idea that you just mentioned because I do that as well. Coming back from conferences or webinars or any conversation, really, I have a running list of things to learn and do. So I totally
Yeah.
resonate with that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were chatting a little bit before we kicked off this interview, Joanna, and you mentioned there are not many women in the agile space. It's a male dominated industry in Ireland. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like, what that feels like, and some challenges that come with that?
I think, it's specific to, it's a global issue. It's not only specific to Ireland. I believe, because I would go to different events outside of Ireland as well, and percentage of participants are always male. I think this is a little bit changing depending what conferences we go. So more technical there is a lower number of women. More coaching and soft skill areas we are touching, there is more women at those events. But it's of course it's difficult. It's awkward. It would be nice to get more psychological support, because when you are in the room and you are the only one, or one of very few, you feel like representative of a group. It's not a great feeling. And also I've noticed there are cultural aspects. So you might be the most experienced person in the room, but your opinion, like, you have to really fight for your right to be heard, which I think I've noticed it's easier for a male to be heard than for a female to be heard.
Right.
That's my personal experience.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not new to most of us, right? I think we have been in such situations one time or the other. And this probably should really become a topic of discussion. And I think it's really being raised now. Most recently in Agile 20 Reflect Festival, we ran some panel discussions to kind of address this. So, one thing that you just said really made a lot of sense to me and triggered this thought, right? When you're in the room and there are not many women, and your voice needs to be heard, because one of the aspects of business agility, or even the agile environment, is everybody should have a voice, right? And everybody should have a seat at the table. That's how you get the diverse opinions. Having said that, Joanna, what do you think can be done to remediate this?
Personally, and to be honest with you, that's like my main experience is from IT, but I start around 3 years ago. I started going outside of IT because I think it all overlaps. And to be honest with you, I think HR would be, it's a very complex situation. It's not like do one thing and you fix it. This is, everything taps, and this is a very complex situation that have many touch points. But I think changing our policies, HR policies, would be a great starting point. So I do think that there's lots of social injustice, but like it works both ways. At the moment, paternity and maternity leave are very unequal. So it's by default, a guy, a father will be less absent, mother will be more absent. And of course, like when you are a young woman, like when you go for interviews, you are always going from that weak point that, at some stage, probably she will be she will be on leave for a certain period of time because the kids get sick, or she will get pregnant or something. So I think we are starting from that point of no matter what, you are at the weak point. So your negotiation, everything, you're starting from this weak position. So I think, like, to me personally, I think there should be something done around more fairness in terms of maternity. So then when we are going for interview, like, the employer just doesn't know. But having said that, I think there is, like, indeed there's a huge amount of injustice and stereotypization, because I was very lucky once. So I was in the relationship that I was working, my partner was staying at home looking after our child, and there was lots of discrimination against him because he took 3 years of his career and stay home. So it's not only towards women, it's in general. Like, if this caring for your family is not valued in the society. So no matter what gender you are, if you do that, you are at the disadvantaged position. And I definitely observe it on myself and on my partner. So I definitely experience that. Yes.
Yeah. No.
So to me, for that reason, yeah. That would be a starting point, because less is this sets the tone. So when you set the tone, we are equal, then you can start further conversations. But until you set that atmosphere of equality, the conversation are not they yes, you can do a little bit to improve somebody's situation, but you are not really improving it that deeply.
Yeah. No, I think you bring up a great point here, right? The fundamental policies of the organizations, they need a second look, right? How we are actually treating men and women in the organization, and most importantly, are we getting those diverse perspectives by really enhancing these policies or anything that you're putting in place? And probably you're also hiring for the mindsets and not just the skills or the gender. So
but I think it might go deeper than just organizational policies. I think this is like at a country level or politics level, that we have, especially in Europe, we have countries which are more progressive than the others. So it just, in general, having those conversations at the higher level, so changing the politics around those social rights, it would be probably starting point.
Definitely, right? It has to change at the macro level and the micro level, and it has to be aligned, right? The change needs to be aligned all the way through those layers of bureaucracy, if you will. So I totally agree with that. I think we need to fundamentally change, and not just organizations and countries alone, right? I think individual mindsets need to change, and the discrimination towards your partner that you just mentioned, it's not coming from an organization or above that, it's coming from people. So I think it's the mindset that needs to really change. And that's
and I would like to I think what you're saying is extremely important, because I've noticed even at our level, like Scrum Masters, I would encounter situations that female Scrum Masters would get annoyed with fathers attending their children now during the pandemic, during the Scrum events. And I'm like, as a Scrum Master, it's your job to protect your team. Like you do not understand what your role involves and takes. If you are getting cross because somebody is attending a family during your events, there's something. So I think what you just said is absolutely crucial. It's a mindset, and it's we can do a lot. We can facilitate that friendly and accommodating and encouraging and supportive environment for those in our care and our nearest circles.
Yeah. And especially with the remote working during pandemic, I think that empathy and that people interactions should be enhanced all the more. So well said. So tell us a little bit about Agile-Lean Ireland. There is a community and you're contributing very actively to it, which is commendable. Congratulations. So what does it take to step up to give back to the community, Joanna? And the reason I ask is, the women that we meet, they have that intense desire to contribute, right? And there is no lack of competency or capability to do so. It's just that they're apprehensive to step out of their comfort zone. And also there's a lot of self-judgment that goes on. Can I really do it? Am I even capable of doing this? Or am I even eligible to really step up and contribute, because they always assume that there are others who are more capable. So in that context, from that lens, what does it take? And tell us your experience about Agile-Lean Ireland.
Yeah, so again, for me, that was a coincidental journey. So I'm not sure if I can, I can tell you what I've done, not necessarily root for everybody, but basically when I step into the role of Scrum Master, I was very fresh in that, and I wanted to understand, like I wanted to learn more. And all the training conferences were very expensive. So I couldn't afford to go on them. And my organization, they were very good to me. They paid for some, but I couldn't just requesting another after another, because there's more people to avail of the training opportunities. So I was trying to figure out how can I learn and not to go bankrupt in the process. So I find that local community, they were just organizing meetups, and I volunteered with them. So I started organizing meetups with them. And then as we grew, we changed and became Agile-Lean Ireland. So I just, my intention was just to learn the topic, so go to the free events, and I was willing to volunteer and support in exchange for that opportunity. And then it happened that we were growing quite rapidly. We were encouraged by the community to organize the conference. So we thought, okay, can we do that? And I loved working with the guys. And I think this is very important because this is what I mentioned earlier. It's a complex environment. So I don't think women on their own in isolation can do much change. We need support from the folks, from the guys to support us. And I find myself in the environment, which again, originally there was 7 of us, 3 women, 4 guys. And now later on, that changed. There is a little bit of few organizers, but it's still only 2 women. But I find myself in the organization that was supporting me. It allowed me to grow. So I grew with Ali. I was taking more and more responsibilities. I was supported through that process. So they helped me to grow. So I think being in the environment that allows you to grow helps you to develop your skills, and being surrounded by males who support you is extremely important. And that's what co-organizers of Agile-Lean Ireland provided for me. So it's not like I just went there, boom, 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 and I will organize it. They provided the journey for me of growth that I started from volunteering, and now I could take a little bit more leading position.
So I think what I'm hearing here, Joanna, which is an incredible journey, is that if you take one step forward, the community comes, 100 steps towards you. But that one step needs to come from you, right? I think that's what happened with you, right? Have the faith, just step out of your bubble and, just put yourself out there for volunteering, as you said, because everybody needs volunteers. And I think the community really can, take you along. And this is a fantastic community, as we all know. And what happened with you in Agile-Lean Ireland is a classic example of that.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, you have to take first step, and you don't have to be perfect because you are going there to learn. So if you can provide a little bit of value, then the rest, the ball will start rolling. You just need to, volunteer somewhere, and there are huge amount of opportunities, volunteering opportunities. And sometimes, I would wait. There are different calls for volunteers. I would reply to calls, but sometimes I would just contact event organizers and said, listen, I have that experience. I would be willing to help you. I want just ticket. I want an opportunity to attend your event in exchange for me helping you and supporting you to organize it and so on. So it wasn't always, in the beginning, I was replying to call for volunteers because that was easier. Yeah. But now I have no problem to put myself forward and say, listen, I want to, attend your event, but I cannot afford it. Can I help?
Yeah. No, I think that's very powerful. And I really wish, this can be the message out there for all women and men alike. And as you can see, I think there are less women, of course, in the conferences, in the capacity of volunteers, speakers, etc. But this is so valuable. Just put yourself out there, and it'll be amazing to see how the community really takes you along.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. And one thing that I would like to also share from my perspective, and again, this is the dual perspective of being a volunteer attendee and perspective of being an organizer. If you reject it, don't take it personally, because there are different reasons why you might be rejected. There might be no budget. There might be there is loads of, and even budget for somebody, to take time and train you and give you overview introductions, so there can be time constraints. Don't take it personally. Sometimes, silly things as just emails going missing, somebody just forgetting to check emails and not seeing it, silly things, because it happened to me many times that I was talking to somebody and they were like, pity, you didn't take me because I was volunteering. I was like, okay, I will check it. I'm really sorry. And then it turned out that that email was missing. It happened to me as well, that I was talking to somebody and I was saying, oh, like, you know, like, Peter, you didn't take me as a volunteer. And they had no clue I applied, because again, there was just, you know, like when you, because you have to imagine, some conferences, some events are organized by professional bodies. Some, like Agile in Ireland, we've been running, that's, all of us have full-time jobs. That was our hobby, that we are all volunteers. So that was our second job after our main job. So it's, you know, there has to be a lean way there, that it's not as perfectly organized as it would be with a professionally organized event. However, we did our best not to to mitigate those occurrences, but it happens. And I just want to say, don't take it personally. You were rejected first time, okay, apply second time. You were rejected second time, think about, what you're writing, how you're writing, apply third time, and learn from your experiences, and keep applying until you get where you want to get.
Yeah, no, that's such a lovely message, and such a positive outcome-based message that you have just given us. This is fantastic. Thank you so much, because rejections are hard to accept, but there is a different perspective to look at it. So thanks for sharing that, Joanna.
Yeah. And if I may add just one more thing, make a game of it. So I was thinking, I will get, I think there's this great TED talk about getting 100 rejections. So I didn't go to 100, but I was thinking, I will get around 20 rejections per one yes. So when you're thinking, okay, this is just a step towards yes, it completely changes your perception.
Yeah, I like the game. And I have to go back and listen to that TED talk. I'll search for that. As we wrap up, Joanna, is there any short message that you would like to give to our audience? Just, a phrase or a quote or a word, anything that you live by?
Yeah, I would like to encourage females in technology just to think how to get somewhere, how to do it, rather very often people phrase their thoughts, I can't, because this is the most successful way of thinking. I think if you want to get something, you have to think, okay, how can I get there? So yes, I couldn't afford those events, but I still find a way to participate in them. I couldn't, do something, but I was, thinking, how can I put my foot between the door to get there? So thinking how opens the door, thinking why not closes the same door.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Oh my God, that is so powerful. Thank you so much, Joanna, for this time and your valuable perspectives. And we hope you continue your great work in Ireland and towards Agile-Lean Ireland community. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to take part in, the series of interviews. So thank you very much.